12-year-old girl fights the odds to save the life of her 7-year-old sister when a stranger attempts to carjack them. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe to m&rtv and hit the bell so you never miss any upload from us. Also, leave a like right now. Ever came across a situation so frightening that all your senses literally go numb? You are not able to think and act. You are confused about the strange chaos, and life seems to approach a dead end. It is the moment when your blood runs cold and you can't think of what to do next. Something similar happens when Brandie, the mother of 2 daughters, steps out from the car to help the people injured by a car crash. And what she sees next is a strange-looking, horrifying man forcibly gets into her car in which her 2 daughters aged 12 years and 7 years old were sitting. He locked in the car and did not seem to have good intentions, while she, being the mother, couldn't do anything to save her daughters. Her elder daughter took the situation in her hands and did the unthinkable. She saw the man coming towards the car, but she did not anticipate that he would unlock the doors and sit in it. She was scared. Her mother was at a distance, and she and her younger sister were all alone in the car. And now they were locked with a stranger, an oddly scary-looking man. What was the man up to? Maddie and Molly were perplexed. They could not figure out why had the man barged into the car. Brandie rushed towards the car to look into the matter, but the man already paved his way into the car. Maddie, after being baffled for a few minutes, acts on the situation to save her younger sister and herself from the unpleasant. It was a holiday that day, and a pleasing weather made it the perfect day to go for a picnic. The sisters had been asking their mom to take them to the amusement park at the Easter weekend. And so there it was. Maddie and Molly, along with Brandie, dressed in t-shirts, reading Family Day, and were all set to leave. Brandie took the car out from the driveway, and Maddie and Molly excitedly hopped in. They were very enthusiastic about this trip. All they were talking about on their way was which ride they would bump into first. Brandie was overjoyed to see her daughters this happy. Little did she know that their happiness was time-bound that day. They were driving towards the uncertain. The trio of mom and daughters were driving to the amusement park, Williamsburg, Virginia. Molly, being the youngest, couldn't control her excitement, and all she asked Brandie in every now and then was, "Mom, how long will it take us to reach there?" Unfortunately, even the mother didn't know that they will never be able to make it to the amusement park. They were passing by J. Taylor Highway when Brandie saw that a car has managed to bang into the greens. Being a holiday, the highway was empty and no one was there to help the people who must have been injured in the crash. Brandie couldn't drive through like that, and she decided to lend a helping hand to the poor passengers. A helping hand that cost over her daughter's life. Brandie found a man who had a minor head injury. She immediately rushes toward him with a first aid box she carried from her car. On reaching the man for help, Brandie dials 911 to call for some more help. As she turns back to the bleeding man, she was shocked. The man started running towards her car. Wait, what? Did I see it right? Brandie was taken aback by the sight of the assumed bleeding man running towards her car. A chilling spine ran through her body when she saw him running. She was so baffled that instead of running behind him, she just prayed that he did no harm to her daughters. She started screaming, "Maddie, beware! Maddie, beware!" Hearing her mom screaming and finding a strange man running towards the car, Maddie immediately closed the windows and locked her car from inside. The 12-year-old was frightened. She asks Molly to sit down and earnestly waited for her mom to come soon. The day was an unfortunate one. The man broke the car locks and the car was unlocked in a second. Brandie started to run as well, but before she could manage to reach out to her daughters, the stranger was already sitting on the driver's seat and was mumbling the frightening. The looks of the man were enough to leave the girls petrified. Maddie recalls that the man was of strong build and looked shabby. He had an overgrown beard. The moment he sat in the car, he started mumbling. He was saying all these things like, "Let's go," and "I need to get to this place." Maddie knew that this man was not having the right intentions. It was very clear from the manner he broke into their car. Brandie could not reach the car, and the girls were all alone in this locked car with a stranger who just did not seem right. What was written in their destiny that day? Molly held Maddie's hand tight. The little girl was scared to wits. She began sobbing of fear. She looked at Maddie and mumbled, "Mom." Maddie, too, was frightened. The man had his hands over the steering wheel. Maddie knew she needs to do something to save her younger sister and herself from the unknown. Seeing Molly panic this bad, Maddie knew that she would have to maintain her calm in order to stay strong for her sister. She took a deep breath and held Molly's hand tight. Just then, the elder one of the duo recalled what they have been taught to do in a crisis like that. Molly and Maddie belonged to the family of brave men. They were brought up by policemen and firefighters. The members of their family had seen all such obstacles in life and had even taught their daughters how to brave them. Bravery ran through their veins, and just then she knew what is to be done. One thing Maddie knew was that she needed to distract the stranger from driving away the car. She immediately began to bite the man on his arm and somewhere succeeded in diverting his attention from the steering wheel. Seeing her, even Molly followed her. When the girls realized that this was not helping them much, Maddie undid her seatbelt and began punching him. But unfortunately, the man was so huge in build that the little girl's efforts were in vain. However, the little Molly continued to irritate the stranger, and in the meantime, Maddie's brain took over. Maddie recalled that there was a special safety feature in their car. If the car was sliding into driving gear, it wouldn't even let the engine start. She was sure that the weird-looking man had no clues to it, and she did the much needed. However, she had never expected what happened next. Even in her wildest imagination, Maddie had not thought that she would have to take the risk of meddling with the gear of the car without her mother's supervision. It was a risk she was about to take. She, without being caught by the stranger, shut down the gear to the drive mode, and what happened next was astonishing. Next moment, Maddie again starts to hit and bite the man. She even dug her nails in the man's arm and shouted, "Molly, run!" Molly immediately unlocks the door and opens up the car and ran towards their mom. But Maddie was still struggling. By then, Maddie was so lost in beating and biting the man that she did not realize when did her sister unlock the door and manage to escape. She continued to irritate the man. However, how will she be able to get herself out from trouble that she had landed in? The moment Brandie saw Molly coming running towards her, she was happy, but soon only realized that her elder daughter was still there fighting. The horrified mother screamed for Maddie. She shouted, "Maddie, get out." While Maddie was struggling with the man, finally the police had arrived on the scene. Thankfully, Brandie had called 911 back in time, and she could save her eldest daughter's life. Brandie was amazed by the courage that Maddie had shown that day. Finding the policeman at sight, the man had no other choice than accepting his defeat. He knew the girls had managed to escape, and he was caught red-handed, and the policeman easily recognized this man. The stranger, an odd-looking man, was Paul Salzman, who was a 21-year-old guy. He had already attempted to steal cars in that area and have miserably failed to do so in his last 3 attempts. Every time he managed to escape, but this time he was caught. The officers called Maddie to know how did she manage to fool such a strong man. The little girl said, "All I knew was that he is a psychopath and he needs to get out of the car." She recalls that she was totally clueless initially, but also knew that she had to get the man out. Paul was held guilty for his acts. He was charged under carjacking, a hit-and-run case, and for driving under the influence of drugs. The authorities also appreciated little Maddie for her immense courage and bravery. Though the girl showcased a brave side, she suffered from injuries in the course. Maddie, while attacking Paul, unknowingly broke a growth plate in her bone. The bone is a sensitive one and needs time to heal. Despite being in pain, the girl's courage was not harmed, and she managed to save her sister's life. One question that ran through everyone's mind was how did a girl only 12 age manage to catch a hold of a man who was quite big in size? And when asked the same for her, Maddie had the simplest yet a very logical reason, a reason that had roots to her hobby. Maddie was a horseback rider. She had always loved riding them. She says that when she could control her ride, when being on a 1,500-pound weighing animal, she knew Salzman was nothing in front of it. Bravo, girl. This tale of Maddie's bravery was shared online, and people were completely blown away with the little girl's courage. Her instinct to act on foot to save the life of her sister and herself stole many hearts. She was praised everywhere for her courage. When Brandie was asked to comment upon the incident, she could not stop praising her daughter. Brandie said that she was proud of Maddie. While she herself was shocked and blank in that situation, she didn't know how to act. Her daughter did the incredible. When asked in an interview that wasn't Maddie herself was scared in that situation, the girl had the most honest answer. She said, "Yes, I was scared, but I knew that Molly was more scared. Had I lost the calm, she would have been more panicked." Yet it wasn't all she had to say. When asked what advice would Maddie give to other girls, God forbid they ended up in a similar situation, the girl's courage spoke. She said that all one should do is fight them. Don't hold back, just fight. Since that day, Maddie is praised and recalled for her bravery. Rather, people started quoting her as an example when it came to showing courage and bravery. Undoubtedly, for a girl who is equally as young as her younger sister, to do something like this was too brave. Kudos to Maddie.